So, slight public service announcement, because apparently when I watched this movie, I was sitting next to people who didn't know this. When you're in the theater, shut up. Don't talk. Talk under like very, very minimal circumstances. Shut up. Don't talk. Don't use your phone. Please shut up. I don't want to hear extra commentary about the movie. We're all watching the same movie. Shut up. Please. The Equalizer 2 sees the return of Antoine Fuqua, return to direct this movie. He didn't write this movie. I don't know. I don't care who even writes this movie. Denzel obviously comes back, and we get new faces like Ashton Sanders from Moonlight, and we also get Pedro Pascal. Now, from what I remember from watching the first Equalizer, I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. Thought the ending was kind of anticlimactic a little bit, but I thought it was a cool movie. Obviously, Denzel is Denzel, so he's gonna do what he's gonna do. I felt the villain was a little bit, villain-like, but I thought it was cool. I liked the human nature that you get with Denzel's character, Robert McCall. Once again, in Equalizer 2, you get that same feeling with Denzel. Denzel's obviously amazing in this movie, whether it's the acting of, showing how human this character is and, those action scenes that we get. I think Denzel's obviously always going to be amazing. We also get side characters like Pedro Pascal, who is great as a who used to be Denzel's old partner. Oh, by the way, this movie's like about... Never mind, we're gonna get to that later. And then we also have Ashton Sanders, who is really, really good in this movie. He plays kind of like this kind of misfit child who stays in an apartment complex with Denzel, and Denzel kind of tries to mentor him. Obviously, Ashton Sanders is actually a really good actor, considering like when you actually see him in real life, he does not act anything like the roles that he's been in. Like, he's completely different from any of the roles that he's been in. Melissa Lee also plays a character who used to be part of Robert McCall's past, with also being this kind of assassin for the government. I think she's really good in the movie. I also like the action scenes. The action scenes are actually very, very well put together. I would say the directing from Antoine Fuqua for majority of this movie is really, really dope. And I also like the underlying message that you get with this movie, which is just about being a better human being. Also the message that you kind of get with Robert McCall and Ashton Sanders' character throughout this movie, as kind of like a mentor to this guy. It was really, really good. But that kind of is the extent of the good things with this movie, in my opinion, because this movie starts off really, really strong. You get a really nice action scene on the train that's really dope. But then the rest of the movie is kind of unfocused. Like, this movie does not know what it wants to be. For example, there's a scene that we get later that has to do with like some guys mistreating this woman. It's a dope scene and all, and it kind of shows Robert McCall's character, but there was no reason why it should have been this movie. Ashton Sanders and Denzel Washington's relationship in the movie also kind of doesn't fit what is going on in this, what's supposed to be this spy movie. It's basically another movie that you're watching. It basically could literally be a separate movie from this Equalizer story, and they kind of tried to tie Ashton Sanders' character back into the movie, and it kind of was like, come on, dude, like, no, I'm not gonna buy that for 1 second. And just to harken on this unfocused part of this movie, there's a side character played by Bill Pullman for no reason. There's literally no reason why this guy should be in this movie. I really mean that. Like, there's actually a moment towards the end that I guess they're trying to make us feel good, but I was like, I feel like that character shouldn't have even been in the movie, and it didn't feel justified in my opinion. Also, Pedro Pascal's character, you can see where this character's going from a mile away. Obviously, this movie's just predictable. You know what you're gonna get with this movie, obviously. I love Denzel and all that, but this movie's so predictable. And also, a bad thing about this movie being unfocused was it because it was unfocused and it kept wasting time with a lot of all the others, BS I was going around the movie. By the time it gets to the end and the kind of plot twist of this movie, it's not deserved, and the movie knows it's not deserved because it just starts speeding up and it just ends. I'm like, really? Like, literally the movie ties up like this. I'm like, none of that felt deserved because they knew, like, the movie kind of knew that, well, none of this was kind of deserved, so let's just kind of rush this through, Literally, the ending action scene kind of feels like a dumb video game, like, I don't even know how to say it. It just felt like a dumb video game. I just couldn't buy the ending. And then the movie just didn't know when to end. I'm like, okay, we get it. The movie's over. Let's wrap it up, people. Please, let's wrap it up. All in all, Denzel's great. Ashton Sanders is great. All the actors in general are great. Antoine Fuqua, for the most part, does a good job with the directing. I generally don't feel like he's this amazing director. Obviously, he gave Denzel an Oscar with Training Day. But I've never rated him as like, oh my goodness, Antoine Fuqua is like this great, director. He's okay. It's just this movie's just too unfocused, man. Damn, if this movie was really stay focused as to like being like a kind of just a pure gritty spy kind of movie with this guy who always wants to get out, but he always finds his way back in. Like this movie definitely could have been great, but it just didn't know what it wanted to be. I'm going to give The Equalizer 2 a 5. But on a good day, I'll probably give it a 5.5. I hate that Denzel's like this. Actually, the last thing I wanted to bring up was we need to talk about like Denzel. Like, he didn't have a great decade. This was not Denzel's decade whatsoever. Like, what standout movie did Denzel have this movie? Equalizer 1 is okay. I guess The Magnificent Seven is a good movie. It's okay. Flight's a good movie. But there was no like, yo, Denzel was like great. Like, even like he got nominated last year. People were like, he got nominated, really? Like, I don't know. I feel like we may need to take a step back and be like, oh, maybe Denzel's legacy only lasted for pretty much 2 decades. Trust me, Denzel's like my stepdad, and it was hard for me to say that. But this movie just disappointed me in general. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna do a lot of reviews this week. I have been slacking. I see Mission Impossible tomorrow, as in Monday. I see Sorry to Bother You on Tuesday. People have asked me to do Unfriended. I'll think of if I want to pay for that movie. I saw 8th Grade last week. Let's just say I'll see you guys for those later reviews this week. Obviously, I need to catch up on my fan film club. I'll be caught up before this week's movie. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Peace.